There are legends, and then there are men who defined an era. Michael Douglas didn't just star in Hollywood, he built it. Wall Street. Fatal Attraction. Basic Instinct. The American President. For over 5 decades, he was the face of power, charisma, and an unshakable screen presence that made you believe he was invincible. But what's happened to him at 81 isn't just aging. It's a story of survival that will break your heart and rebuild it in the same breath. Born into Hollywood royalty as Kirk Douglas's son, Michael could have coasted on his father's name. Instead, he forged his own path, winning Oscars as both an actor and producer before he turned 40. By the 90s, he was the highest-paid actor in the world, commanding $15 million per film, married to Catherine Zeta-Jones, raising a family, and seemingly untouchable. From the outside, it looked like a life without cracks. Then 2010 hit. Michael was diagnosed with stage 4 tongue cancer. Stage 4. The kind of diagnosis where doctors start using words like prepare and time left instead of treatment plan. He underwent an aggressive regimen of chemotherapy and radiation that ravaged his body. He lost over 30 pounds. He couldn't eat solid food for months. The man who once played Gordon Gekko, the embodiment of strength and control, was reduced to a frame so fragile that tabloids began writing his obituary before he was gone. Catherine later admitted there were nights she held his hand and silently prepared herself to become a widow. But Michael fought. 8 grueling months of treatment. He beat the cancer into remission in 2011. Most people would call that a victory and retreat into quiet recovery. But life wasn't finished testing him. In the years that followed, his father Kirk passed away at 103. His son Cameron served a prison sentence that weighed heavily on the family. The accumulation of grief, stress, and the long-term effects of treatment began to surface in ways the public didn't see until recently. What you see now when you look at Michael Douglas at 81 is a man who has been through something. His face carries the etching of radiation therapy. His gait has slowed. The sharpness in his movements has softened. Candid photos from recent public appearances show a fragility that stands in stark contrast to the towering figure he once was. And that's exactly what makes it so hard to watch. Because we grew up believing Michael Douglas was bulletproof. But here's the part that might actually bring you to tears, and it's not about decline. It's about love. Throughout every devastating chapter, Catherine Zeta-Jones never left his side. Despite a 25-year age gap that critics mocked when they married, despite the cancer, despite the pressures that destroy most Hollywood marriages, she remained. In interviews, she speaks about him with a tenderness that transcends celebrity. She calls him her best friend. She says the cancer taught them what actually matters. She still looks at him the way she did in 1998, when they first met and he told her he'd be the father of her children. Michael himself has spoken with a candor that's rare among stars of his stature. "Cancer gave me a new appreciation for life," he said. "Every day I wake up is a bonus." He's continued working, continued showing up, continued loving his wife and children with an intensity that only comes from knowing how close he came to losing it all. At 81, he's not hiding. He's not pretending to be 45. He's simply grateful, and it shows in every frame. This isn't a story about a fallen icon. It's a story about a man who looked death in the face, watched it blink first, and chose to spend whatever time he has left fully present. If that doesn't move you, nothing will. If Michael's journey touched your heart today, please tap that like. What part of his story hit you hardest? The cancer battle, Catherine's loyalty, or the way he's chosen to age with grace and gratitude? Let us know in the comments. And for more emotional stories about the icons who shaped our lives, subscribe and turn on notifications.